Welcome to Not the Code, where we explore the human side of software development. Today, we're diving into a problem that's silently sabotaging junior developers on teams everywhere: context switching. If you've ever watched a talented new hire struggle to complete tasks, or if you felt frustrated as a junior developer yourself, constantly jumping between different problems and never feeling like you're making real progress, this episode is for you. Let me paint you a picture. It's Monday morning, 9 a.m. Mia, a junior developer, sits down with her coffee, ready to finally crack that authentication bug she's been working on since Friday. She opens her IDE, pulls up the code, and starts tracing through the login flow. 5 minutes in, Slack pings. "Hey, can you quickly check why the staging deploy failed?" She switches to the deployment logs, starts investigating. Another ping. "When you get a chance, can you review this PR?" Then her mentor stops by her desk. "Got a minute to walk through yesterday's stand-up feedback?" By 11 a.m., Mia has touched 4 different problems and solved none of them. She feels scattered, anxious, and like she's letting everyone down. Now, here's what makes this story particularly painful. I've watched this exact scenario unfold across every team I've worked with. And here's the thing that took me years to realize. It's not that junior developers are easily distracted. The problem runs much deeper than that. The teams creating this problem don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're being helpful, inclusive, getting junior developers involved in everything. But what they're actually doing is overwhelming people who are still learning how to manage their cognitive load. So why do junior developers get hit harder by context switching than everyone else? When someone with more experience gets interrupted, they've developed this almost unconscious ability to quickly assess the situation. They think, is this more important than what I'm doing? Can it wait? How do I get back to where I was? They've built these decision-making patterns over years of practice. But junior developers? They're still learning these skills while simultaneously trying to figure out which tasks actually matter most, rebuild their mental model of the code after each interruption, and navigate the social pressure of saying, "not right now," to senior teammates. And that social pressure piece is huge. I remember working with a junior developer named Alex who told me he felt like he couldn't say no to any request because he was worried people would think he wasn't a team player. So he said yes to everything, and his actual assigned work kept getting pushed back day after day. The result? What should be a 2-hour focused coding session becomes a full day of frustration. The junior developer goes home feeling like they accomplished nothing, even though they spent the entire day helping other people with their problems. This creates a confidence spiral. When junior developers can't complete their own tasks because they're constantly being interrupted, they start doubting their abilities. They think, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Everyone else seems to get so much more done than I do. But it's not about ability. It's about environment. The frustrating part is that junior developers often have great ideas and fresh perspectives. But when they're in constant reactive mode, jumping from crisis to crisis, they never get the space they need to think deeply or contribute meaningfully. Over the years, I've seen teams implement 3 specific changes that consistently turn this around. And I want to be clear, these aren't theoretical solutions. These are practical changes that you can implement starting tomorrow. First, sacred focus blocks. Pick a specific time each day when junior developers are completely off limits for questions. Not when they have time or unless it's urgent, actual protected time. Here's what works. 90 minutes each morning, typically 9 to 10:30 a.m. They set their Slack status to focus block back at 10:30 with a lock emoji. And here's the crucial part. The entire team agrees that no questions, reviews, or quick asks happen during this window. I worked with one team where implementing this single change was transformative. The junior developers went from feeling constantly behind to actually completing their assigned tasks each week. But the breakthrough moment came when one of them told me, "For the first time, I feel like I can actually think about the code instead of just reacting to it." Second, the urgency reality check. Most interruptions aren't actually urgent, but junior developers assume they are. So create a simple communication framework that the entire team uses. Urgent means production is down. Customers can't use the product. Important means it needs a response today, but can wait until the focus block ends. Normal means a response within 24 hours is fine. Train everyone to label their requests. When someone says, "Quick question," they specify, "Important. Can you review this PR before 3 p.m.?" This single change dramatically reduced unnecessary interruptions on the last team I saw implemented. But here's what's interesting. When people have to actually think about and label the urgency of their request, they often realize it's not urgent at all. Sometimes they solve it themselves rather than interrupt someone else. Third, weekly priority anchoring. Junior developers often struggle because they genuinely don't know if they're working on the right things. Every Monday, mentors should spend 15 minutes clarifying 3 things. What are your top 3 priorities this week? If someone interrupts with X, Y, or Z, how should you respond? When should you come ask for help versus push through on your own? This isn't micromanagement. It's giving junior developers the decision-making framework they need to handle interruptions confidently. One team I worked with started doing this and saw an unexpected benefit. Junior developers began proactively managing their own time. They'd say things like, "I can help with that after 2 p.m. when my focus block is done," or "That sounds important. Let me finish this function and I'll come find you." Now, if you're thinking this sounds great in theory, but wondering how to actually implement it, here's your roadmap. Today, identify one 90-minute block for each junior developer on your team. Add it to their calendar and announce it in your team channel. This week, introduce the urgency framework. Ask everyone to start labeling their requests as urgent, important, or normal. Next Monday, schedule 15-minute priority check-ins with junior developers. Make it a weekly rhythm. The teams I've seen implement all 3 approaches notice changes quickly. Junior developers start completing more tasks, they report feeling less scattered, and here's the part that surprised me, they begin proactively managing their own focus time. But there's a ripple effect that goes beyond just the junior developers. When they're not constantly context switching, they start contributing more meaningfully to code reviews. They ask better questions during stand-ups. They begin taking ownership of features instead of just working through task lists. The whole team dynamic shifts. Senior developers spend less time on repetitive questions and more time on complex problems. Product managers get more predictable delivery timelines. And junior developers finally get the space they need to develop into the contributors you hired them to become. Context switching isn't just a productivity problem, it's a confidence problem. But with the right boundaries in place, you can give junior developers the foundation they need to thrive. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a colleague who might benefit from these ideas. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Not the Code wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other people discover these conversations about the human side of software development. Until next time, keep building better teams together.